will the Nintendo Switch be able to handle Breath of the Wild 2, or are they waiting until the holiday season to announce the release of the Nintendo Switch Pro and have the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 be kind of the like what draws you to buy the Nintendo Switch Pro? That's what a lot of people think. That's what a lot of analysts think. But again, it is all speculation at this time. What do you guys think of a Nintendo Switch Pro?
I definitely, it's definitely possible. I mean, we're seeing how Xbox and PlayStation have gone leaps with their new consoles, and even before the new consoles, I would say that they released like a halfway point with the Xbox Enhance, I believe, and then was it the PS4 Pro? They leave like they were already moving up, so it's definitely possible that the Nintendo may pursue that. But I also think that even then, Nintendo has had that unique system. I think back in the Super Nintendo days, how like the Mario games were improving so much, even within Super Nintendo. We saw it also with the Wii. So at the same time, maybe they can create a system where they're keeping the same level of detail that we saw with Breath of the Wild, but in Breath of the Wild 2, maybe fix some of those issues, some coding improvements. Um, I'm not sure. I could see it as a possibility to have a Switch Pro, although it's not as common as you see in PS4 and Xbox. I mean, PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah, there has been a lot of pressure for them to put out a next gen model, but then again, Nintendo hasn't been known to give in to the pressures of the consumers. They kind of are their own beast who do what they do. And they have a specific market they're going after, and it may not be in their best interest to release a next gen model or game console while consumers are still buying Switch products and Switch hardware. I mean, they are right now the best selling uh, gaming console, and um, all of their games are outselling just about everything out there. So I don't know if it's even a smart business move for them to release Breath of the Wild this year. They can wait and hold out until next year. But after watching Nintendo Direct, I'm starting to think that they might be banking on this being the big seller for the holiday season because other than Breath of the Wild 2, I mean, there's not really other games that I'm, really looking forward to where I'm like, I can't wait for this game to come out and so I can buy it, other than Breath of the Wild 2. What are your thoughts, Gabe? You've been awfully quiet.
No, yeah, I was just thinking, yeah, I know they don't really like release stuff as often, but my thing is they just released the Switch Lite isn't all that old yet. I mean, I think it's not even how it's not that old, right? It's like I don't know if it's a year old yet. They just released
Yeah,
that not too long ago, right? So I don't see
right.
why there would be another rush to release another system when they just did that. Um, so I would, so to me, it just makes sense for them to hold on a little bit before they do the Pro. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
I could see what you're talking about them holding on until maybe like Christmas, holiday Christmas to
yeah,
throw Breath of the Wild 2 down. But that's just my process right now. It's just I don't think that they're in a rush to release a system because they just did the light. But at the same time, I'm not too sure if the light was a huge hit or not. I know
yeah.
there was a
It
good
was.
amount of people. Was it?
Yeah, I believe the
Because
Nintendo Switch and the Switch Lite are both outselling the 3DS, and I mean they've outsold, of course, the Wii U, which didn't sell very well, and the
mm,
Wii. I mean they are killing it right now on the market, especially since no one can get their hands on a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. I mean they are just killing it more and more. And people are, in general, are just moving more to handheld portable devices. They want to be able to take their game with them, and they have the advantage of making console games on a portable device. Like Breath of the Wild, you can take it to the bathroom and play it on the pooper. You know what I mean? You can't take Xbox games and do that. Like this is not a possibility right now. They are moving more into that by being able to play Xbox games from your phone, but it's not quite at the same caliber as the Nintendo Switch at the moment.
And
But
I'll add something that's very important to why the Switch. I think we still have quite the life with the Switch, where I don't think we'll have a Switch Pro just yet. For the fact that they play and capture video at 720p, that allows definitely to stay within a certain category that on Xbox and PS4 need the hardware for 1080 and now 4K. And so that definitely helps the Switch out a lot. And another thing I was thinking about too is that Pokemon still hasn't really blossomed or got to a point that where the Nintendo 3DS was at. I mean, what was it? Pokemon Sun and Moon were definitely really beloved games from the franchise, and there's a lot of people who are saying that the Sun and Moon are much better than Sword and Shield right now. I know a lot. I mean, for myself, it was quite fun because I'm going back to the Pokemon Yellow and Red, Blue, Red, and Yellow days, and that's what I'm basing it off. But a lot of the people that played Pokemon in 3DS has said that the Switch still hasn't had a game that has made them satisfied as much as the 3DS games have. So with that said, the Pokemon still has a lot more they can do with the Switch. I mean, even if we talk about Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, a lot of people felt like those were placeholders. Even though they were very fun, they were placeholders. They weren't a full release game, and so there was a lot of expectations with the Switch. Sorry, with Pokemon Sword and Shield, and there was a lot of disappointment. Although personally, I had a great time with it, I do see where the disappointment was coming from. But we'll take some more time to talk about that game a different day. But as regard as the
absolutely.
Switch, as the regard of the Switch life, there still is games that I think can really blossom still.
Yeah, absolutely. I is 100%. Yeah, so we can expect to hear more, like the director said, Aonuma. We're going to be hearing more about the release and the progress of Breath of the Wild 2 later on this year. Let's move on to the next announcement.